just kick this off. Appreciate all the great comments and encouragement on Indian Trace. God is faithful, no matter what you think is going on out there. Because even if we are pretty sure we know what's going on, 50% of it's going to be what you think is going on. I haven't done a moving day in a long time. I still have a bin, one of my white bins that keeps a group approximately this size until it's time to move it into a display. These represent my top finds for the last month or two or what have you. And I haven't been able to move things around, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of a cleanup. I don't do many cleanup videos as it is. In this little room, my voice is probably reverberating around the room. But I think sometimes it's worth doing a cleanup. Sometimes I just don't have the time to get around. But I'll always do a moving day because I also am documenting and getting pictures for a digital file. I try to keep my collection in both ways. Both in photos, documentation, as well as hard copy, which would be to actually keep the artifact. So I want to just chat about some of these that I found as we go around. And some of these, to me, 8, 9, 10 weeks ago, are what I feel like are old finds. The sites and whatever have rotated onward in agriculture, an endless cycle here in this country. But these aren't going to be in the mix anymore. These all were in mortal danger of getting snapped, broken, and beat up. Everything has been saved. Nothing's been robbed. Anyway, in this whole shot right here, I can tell you for sure, at least as far as how much you find, and it's not because of what you see and the size of them, but as I've said many times before, the only true bow point is this little triangle right here. Serrated piece. Hopefully my focus is coming in. It's a nice find, and they're super rare. I don't find many. I don't even find too many broken pieces in comparison to other types of points. Another fairly rare find is a yadkin like this, and you see the relief on the back, which is real nice. Then the nickel gives you a good idea of size, but imagine trying to figure out the workmanship on pieces like this, how to make them so specific. Don't know how they did the little triangles with that, or what tools they used, or if they just used up an antler bit, or what. I still wonder about that and the smaller pieces like that. But on Indian Trace, we get a good close-up. Look at this piece. This was a G10 just pretty recently, the other day, from W Properties. It's very solid, incredible point. I think a few videos back, I can see that some people who click by Indian Trace, well, of course, haven't watched. Haven't been on here since 2014 to see them found. There's a fair amount out in the market, and people who are collecting who are doubters. They think this is fake. They think where I find this, I put it out there. I don't have the time to waste. All I'm trying to do for the greatest part is document for posterity and for my family. I won't be here long compared to how long these have been here. I won't be here a blink in time. But I don't think they should get busted up by the machines anymore. Most of these, well, a lot of them are on video, one place or another, dirty or clean. That's rhyolite. does not, it comes in many colors, like these three are rhyolite, but it always patinas differently. This was on film, a Guilford Yuma. And you're talking a square 5000 BC on the Yumas. And I always tend to err on the side of conservative measures of time. This is a great point. Even though it looks rude compared to some of the flints that you guys have out in Missouri or wherever, Tennessee, good God. I love the reliefs on all of the points. And it's a bit of a favorite point style for me. Of course, I can tell you I have many favorites. Look at these two quartz at the top. Unbelievable. And I can say this about the people here. Whatever they had in the ground, well, they took it and used it the very best they could, and there's a ton of quartz around here, including quartz crystal and what have you. So if they could craft it, they'd use it. It's not even a rare material around here, but it's so flat out hard that I guess they had to be masters to craft it. I don't know what they napped it with. It'd be neat to see, especially the little ones or the big ones. And then there's variated material around here, which is indigenous as well. Some measures. It's a nice point right there. Look how thin this thing is. Slight. Good stock, good stuff. So this stuff will get rotated, moved, and some given. I listen carefully. I have now, I think, 4 or 5 bags that I just set aside for people who I've listened to, understand, and they need to just have some of this great North American Indian artifact stuff. This is 1/10 of the artifacts that I think I've brought in the last 3 months. And I'm still contemplating whether to keep all of this. I guess it's my favorite top pieces, like this Guilford round rhyolite. I guess you could say that rhyolite's indigenous, but it comes from western North Carolina. I think a bit west of Yadkin. And about 13 days foot travel from here, one way. Traded in here heavily. That's why you see rhyolite. Variations. This is another piece of rhyolite. And these right here, these two are rhyolite. There's no veins, no supply of it around here. Eastern Central North Carolina. It's all Western North Carolina traded in, or they've gone to retrieve it. Stocked it out. That quarry there, the vein there, is well known as an ancient Indian quarry, that they quarried the stone and carried it. Look at this Guilford round. Fantastic piece. So on an easy day here, I decided to document some of it. Variated material. I think this is indigenous. Couple pieces here from the same site in Site 4. Saved. A lot of these not a nick out of the original form of what they were made. A neat notch point here, very sturdy. Old probably. Well, it's all ancient, no doubt, but even though it has notches, I think it could push back towards 4000 BC or so. Look at the wear around the hafting zone of these notches. Look at how worn it is in the channel. Great stuff. So I'll get some good pictures out of this, and then what I think is the prize find was just last week. Stunned me. I just went out when it was dry just to make sure, and it's a good thing I did. That site is not even ready. And to finish, which I think is a fantastic way to finish, a couple incredible pieces. Look closely as you think with me. Look at this whole drilled piece of pottery. And I believe this piece of pottery is drilled after the pot was made. The drills we find, of course, that's what they used. You can see that piece of quartz in there that temper the pottery, but it was drilled after it was made. And for handles and what have you, but that's how the drills work. They weren't an even core drill like we use in modern times. It was those tapered drills, those stone drills we find, and that's a clear indication of it right there. That's a great piece. Great illustration of it. You don't find them like that often. Great piece of pottery to save and to, could even, I wouldn't put it on a necklace, because if it wasn't felt or something, it'd hurt that hole the way they left it. I suppose you could on a soft cord, right? That'd be a heck of a medallion on a necklace, wouldn't it? Shoot. I don't wear necklaces that much though. Maybe you guys do. Or girls. Look at that piece. And then this was a huge piece. Site 4 I found this week. And then after I pulled it out, I realized it was rim. The top rim part. So that was on film. You can see where it undulates in. And they had it designed at least slightly on the top rim. Very basic utilitarian. It was huge vessel. Look also on this. These marks are nothing new. They were there when it was fired. They either scratched it with their fingernail by accident, or a stick when they were making and shaping it and then getting it into the fire after they pressed it into probably a big reed basket to keep its form, to keep the clay to keep its form, and had it all pressed in with, mixed perfectly with pieces of sand and quartz. You can see it. To temper it. It's great stuff. Great piece of pottery. You don't always find them that big. Very impressive to me. So, that's a good show. Nice, peaceful time if you love artifacts or whatever, and you're not too bored, you're still watching. Other than that, you probably shipped off, clicked off to something more entertaining. All I can say is I hope you find out there. And that's the best I can find here in eastern central North Carolina.